Good morning. This is Nikki Nowinski from the Office of Charter Schools, and this is the Charter Schools Review Board meeting for May 11th, 2026. I will take roll. Jeremy Wall, Stephen Gay, Linda Lynn Kekadelis,
Here.
Bruce Friend,
Here.
Rita Hare, Hilda Parlay,
Present.
Todd Godby,
Here.
Eric Sanchez, Shelley Shope, John Eldridge,
Here.
Eric Gucan, and Gerald McNair. Gerald, I saw you online. Are you? Yeah, can you see? Check and see. Gerald, can you unmute so we know you're present?
Okay, we're gonna roll on. Let's just confirm that he's here, so we have
Okay.
the quorum before we get into any action items. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the CSRB meeting on May 11th, 2026. Thank you to the Office of Charter Schools for putting today's agenda together and assembling all the documents, and for all the folks that are coming before us today, thank you for your time as well. Before we begin with the Pledge of Allegiance and a salute to the flag, let's also just take a moment here to say belated Happy Mother's Day to all the moms that are on the CSRB, as well as listening in here today as well. So hope you had a great weekend.
Yes, very kind of you.
Okay, let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
And Bruce, for the record, we have Shelley Shope online as well. Are there any other board members online that did not say they were present?
Okay, very good. We have a quorum. The mission of the Charter School Review Board. The Charter School Review Board works to ensure the existence of high-quality charter schools in the state of North Carolina. Our ethics statement reads as follows. Board members are reminded that it is our duty to avoid conflicts of interest and the appearance of conflicts of interest as we handle the work of the Review Board. Does any member of the Review Board know of any conflict of interest or any appearance of conflict with respect to any matters coming before us at this meeting? If so, please state them for the record. If during the course of the meeting you become aware of an actual or apparent conflict of interest, please bring the matter to the attention of the chair. It will then be your duty to abstain from participating in discussion on the matter and from voting on the matter. Again, thank you to the office for their work in putting today's agenda together. We have several amendments and a few ready to open readiness reports today, and some special acknowledgments for students as well. Can I get a motion to approve today's agenda?
I move to approve.
Move to approve.
Hilda Parlay seconds.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, it passes unanimously. We also have to approve the meeting minutes from our April 2026 meeting. Can I get a motion to approve those minutes?
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the April 2026 board meeting minutes.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All right, hearing none, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, hearing none, they pass unanimously as well. With that, good morning again to everybody, and I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Norns for some special student presentations.
Good morning, board. Good to see you on this May spring day.
We have with us today a very special group. These are our North Carolina State Employee Credit Union People Helping People Scholarship recipients for 2026. This group of students has come from all over the state today to be present and be acknowledged for their community service in and outside of their charter school. And we're really proud of them. So to start, we are going to call them up and they will tell you a little something special about them. And just so you're aware, the following 10 scholars, there's 8 here today because 2 actually had to do their AP exams today, unfortunately. We are sad that they're not here to join us. But they were selected out of 45 applicants to receive the 2026 North Carolina SECU People Helping People Scholarship. The Office of Charter Schools receives 10 possible selections for this statewide award. And these scholars will receive $10,000 over 4 years to their state university. They had to choose a state school. So wonderful of them to keep the North Carolina traditions going. And without any ado, we will go ahead and start. This morning, I will introduce to you, unfortunately, Landon is one of those students who is taking his AP exam today from Voyager Academy, so we wish him well. But first up, we have Kinsey Jordan from Chatham Charter School. She will be attending Appalachian State University. Coming up, Kinsey. And we have a little graduation gift for them. Here you go. She'll introduce herself.
Good morning. I'm Kinsey Jordan, and I actually am now attending UNC. I switched it because they recently brought back their bachelor's in elementary education, so I plan to double major in elementary education and special education this fall.
So, hey, Kenzie, before Kenzie goes too far, she's gone too far. I've known this young person since she's been in kindergarten, and I tell you that sometimes when we look at where kids end up, her mom sitting back there, if you raise your hand, Jamie was an assistant at the school and is now finishing her elementary education degree and is going to be a 5th grade teacher next year. So, like mom, like daughter, we're so proud of you guys. Congratulations.
Okay, that just made my heart swell from a former elementary education teacher myself. Next up, we have John Blackwell from Hawbridge Community Charter going to the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill also.
Hi, my name is John Wallace, and I'll be attending UNC Chapel Hill. And I plan to do a dual degree in environmental science and information science.
Unfortunately, the second young man who could not join us today is from Greystone Day. He is also taking his AP exams. We wish them the best. Next, we have Zuri Aggie from Rocky Mount Prep, who is going to East Carolina.
Good morning. My name is Zuri Agee, and I'm planning to attend ECU, and I am majoring in biology.
And from Cornerstone Charter High School, we have Kyla Green attending the University of North Carolina, Charlotte.
Good morning. I'm attending UNC Charlotte. I'm going to be studying biology for 4 years, and my plan is to then further my education going into medical school to become a pediatrician.
And joining us from Lincoln Charter School, Mia Cheney, going to the UNC Chapel Hill School.
Hi guys, my name is Mia Cheney, and as it says, I will be going to UNC Chapel Hill. And if you don't mind, I wanted to take a minute to talk about my inspiration for my educational journey today. So in light of yesterday, Mother's Day, I would like to take the next few moments to share how my mom has been my main inspiration throughout my educational journey. Not only does her own intelligence and way with words act as a model for who I aspire to be, but her effort to always show up is the main reason for why I am where I am today. Whenever any educational experience came up that required long hours on the weekend and lots of patience and her dealing with me and my attitude, my mom never failed to show up and allow me the chance to pursue these experiences. I'll never forget that when I still thought I wanted to venture all the way to California for college, she immediately worked hard to make a trip to go out there and tour colleges, rising gas prices and all. I will always appreciate that trip and just know that it is one of the many ways that my mom has always shown up for me. At the end of the day, I'm inspired to continue on my educational path because of my one and only mom. Thank you guys again.
What a great group. And from Longleaf School of the Arts, we have Kayla Lee going to Eastern Carolina University.
Hi, my name is Kayla Lee, and I would like to start by thanking the board for selecting me as a recipient of the North Carolina State Employee Credit Union People Helping People Scholarship. I plan to attend East Carolina University and to major in fashion and textile design, marketing, and merchandising. My dream is to become a luxury fashion creative director, which means I'll be working as both a fashion director, shaping the vision and visual identity of a brand or publication, and a fashion illustrator, bringing my ideas to life through my own sketches. Thank you.
Besides Hayes, is there anyone I didn't recognize yet? Okay, I just want to make sure because of the absences. And last but not least, joining us today is Hayes Davis from Roxborough Community High School, and will be attending UNC Chapel Hill.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Hayes Davis, and I'll be attending UNC Chapel Hill next semester alongside the Hussman School of Journalism and Media, and plan to double major in media and journalism with a concentration in PR and marketing alongside public relation or statistics. I'm undecided. I know it's a lot of words. I'm hoping to go into the political journalism field and possibly work in campaign management or just anywhere in the political journalism field and continue leading by serving others.
And we want to also give Carson Johnson from the Community School of Davidson, attending UNC Chapel Hill, our recognition as well. Well, this group deserves a huge round of applause from their parents and board members. We are so proud of your accomplishments, and we'd like for you to come up to take pictures with our board.
Okay. Congratulations again to all our student award winners. You represent your school and our state very well. It's quite apparent that the future of our university system is also quite strong when we have such outstanding students such as you attending. So again, congratulations. Okay, I think next up, Ms. Wetzel with amendments.
Good morning, board. That is a hard act to follow this morning. Julie Wetzel with the Office of Charter Schools. We have 6 amendment requests this morning. Our first request is from Mountain Discovery Charter School. They're requesting to amend their mission statement. They're in Swain County, have been operating since 2002, and currently serve around 220 students in grades K-8. They kind of informally approved their mission statement a few years ago prior to COVID. They're in the renewal process this year, and they're requesting formal approval from Charter Schools Review Board today. Their new mission statement reads as, to inspire students to enjoy and lead their own learning. They had input from stakeholders, school leadership, and their board of directors, and we have all required documents in our office. And we should have, last I checked, I'm not sure if anybody was online yet, of course they're running early, but we should have somebody from the school online if there are any questions.
Okay, any questions from board members or comments?
I have a comment, Mr. Chair. Sure. I must admit the mission statement is clear, it's positive, and it's student-centered. I would love to have seen more about what the students will achieve, how they'll learn, and why it matters long-term. So I think it needs a bit more clarity.
This is Rita Hare. I would concur. We haven't discussed this, Hilda, but it seems to, I mean, everyone can name their own, I guess, and maybe because we have another one coming that's similar, maybe we need to provide more definition of a mission statement, but it appears to lack substance. And add anything measurable and purpose what their contribution will be, how they will achieve that mission. It just seemed to be just interesting. So it is up to them to determine how to state their mission, and they've done that. If our mission was to inspire charter schools to enjoy and lead their own learning or lead their own success, would we be content with that? My mission is to inspire charter schools and help them, what does it say, to enjoy and lead their own success. That's sort of what I mean. What are we doing about it as a board? What are our actions? How do we accomplish the mission? I know a mission is still abbreviated, but I feel like there could have been more substance.
Other comments? Is there anyone from the board online that'd like to maybe provide some additional clarity or respond to comments that have been made?
Anybody from Mountain Discovery online?
Okay, not hearing none. Would anyone like to make a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move that we do not approve their mission statement as written.
Okay, we have a motion to not approve the proposed new mission statement. Would anyone like to second that motion? Would anyone like to second that motion? Okay, the motion fails. Would anyone like to make another motion?
I move that we approve the mission statement and would like to make a statement with that. Okay. I agree with my colleague, both colleagues, that it's brief, it doesn't go into much detail. However, I think we do give the freedom to the schools to have their mission statement. We hold them accountable for their performance. And if their performance does not measure up, then they may want to look back at their mission statement.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the proposed mission statement. Can I get a second?
I'll second it.
We have a second. Any discussion?
Sure.
Yes. I'm pardon.
No,
Let
go
someone
ahead.
speak. I just wanted to add that their original statement was similar, really. So that's why I wouldn't recommend reverting necessarily. They just wanted to reword what they'd already said about empowering students and empowering the community. And so it's that level of thinking that they've applied to it. And so I'm good with the renewal too.
I never thought I would hear Ms. Parlay say that a mission statement was too short, just for the record. Thank you. You've brought me into a new place that I never thought we would be.
Looking for the meat.
That's right. That's right. And I do think that, that this is one of those places that it's gray. Because it does feel odd to talk about not approving a mission statement, but as somebody who just recently went through renewal, this is something that we, the Office of Charter Schools, do use as a measure to determine if a school is in alignment with its charter and its purpose. And if there's not enough meat to a mission statement, that could be difficult to do, because if it lacks definition, then the interpretation of that could be difficult to hone in on. Just my observation.
Okay, any other discussion? Okay, we have a motion and it's been seconded to approve the proposed change in mission statement. For Mountain Discovery. All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed?
Nay.
The motion passes with one nay. Thank you.
All right, our next request is another mission statement request from Central Park School for Children. They're a charter school in Durham that's been operated since 2003, and they're currently serving around 575 students in grades K-8. They are going through the renewal process. Their mission statement was revised in 2018, so they're seeking formal improvement from the Charter Schools Review Board. The original mission statement was to create a community rooted in justice and equity where all children thrive. It was adjusted to read all children thrive. The input was Central Park School for Children stakeholders, school leadership, and the board of directors, and we have all required documents. And we should have somebody online from the school if there are any questions.
All right, thank you for that. We have a representative from the school. Any questions or comments from board members for the school to potentially address?
Mr. Chair, again, this one needs a bit more detail about how and what that will look like in practice. They're going to thrive how? Academically, socially, emotionally. So I think they need to assure us that they can ensure all their children will thrive in what manner and what the results will be as it pertains to performance. Again, a bit generic and very, very short. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I would tell you that all children thrive. It would be a really solid vision statement, but not a mission statement. And I'm not sure if it was Rita or Hilda who said maybe we need to provide a little more information, context, definition around those things for schools.
Yes. I'm on green. A mission statement should define your reason for existence, your reason for being. So that's the mission statement. All children thrive sounds like it could be a statement of fact. All children thrive, and we know that's not a statement of fact. So maybe they could have been a little more descriptive, and also what is their contribution and their reason for being that's going to make that happen. You just, again, is it measurable? Does it give anyone, without adding, we have to add our own words to make sense out of it, really. To understand this mission statement, we all have to assume certain words fit around all children thrive to define what Central Park School for Children, what their purpose is and how they will attain it. So it's, it is what it is. They have the latitude to name their own mission. And so I wouldn't object to it.
Would any representative from the school like to speak on behalf of your proposed mission statement change? Do we have a representative from the school? I just want to make sure because it seems like we haven't heard from anybody online yet today.
The agenda is, we're running a little bit early. I saw some other attendees on there for other amendments, but I'm not sure if I saw these first two.
Yeah, I tend to agree with the comments of my fellow board members here. I think this mission statement to me lacks what is the school going to do. We want all children to thrive, but what is the school going? I mean, even in the prior when we debated, it was pretty short. At least there was the word that we're going to inspire students. This doesn't really have any kind of that actionable verb that what is the organization's going to what is their mission? What are they going to do?
Right. I mean, again, it's a good vision statement. So the vision statement is if everything goes perfectly, we do our job, then what is the result? And this would be a great vision statement but it's lacking as a mission statement.
Easy to remember, but it's more than just that.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and make a motion that we do not approve this mission statement. And then if the board members are listening or hear the archive version of this, just encourage them to go back. And if they indeed want to change their mission, that's fine. But to have maybe one that's a little bit more actionable in terms of what they're trying to accomplish. So I'll make a motion that we do not approve this mission statement request.
Hilda Parlay seconds.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
I tend to agree with you, and I lend on the side of letting the schools determine their mission statement, but this really, 3 words, this is not a mission statement. So I'm struggling.
So I admittedly got here a little late, but this mission statement doesn't look that much different from the last school's mission statement, and I think the critiques are the same. I understand what the chairman is doing, but it seems an awful lot like the previous mission statement, so I just want us to be more consistent as a board, it would seem to me. And also be more consistent about what our expectation is to the schools. And I agree with the frameworks and being clear on what a mission statement is and what a vision statement is. And we are definitively in the weeds right now, but these are important weeds, I think. So I'm sorry to hold things up.
My only rebuttal, not that just needed one, at least the other one, there's a verb that says what the school is going to do to inspire, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Versus this one. That's where I'm delineating the two. But your point is well taken. They're both
likewise
very brief.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other discussion? All right, hearing none. The motion on the table is not to approve this mission statement change. It's been motioned and second. Why don't we go ahead and do a roll call vote on this one, Nikki?
Stephen Gay,
No.
Lyndalyn Kekadelis,
No.
Bruce Friend,
Aye.
Rita Hare,
Nay.
Hilda Parlay,
Nay.
Todd Godby.
I think we
We're
need
voting
to.
not
I
to
think we need to
approve.
step in and, if I may, am I allowed to step in and change the voting on not change the voting, but add clarity? The motion was to not approve. So if you agree with that, you're voting aye. If you disagree, you're voting nay.
Well, back to me. Aye.
Are we even allowed to redo?
If anybody would like to change their vote, they can do that before the close of voting.
Todd Godby,
Yay.
Shelley Shope, Gerald McNair,
Nay.
Sorry.
John Eldridge.
Oh, sorry.
He
John
said
Eldridge.
aye.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Shelley, are you able to come off mute?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes. What was your vote?
Aye.
Okay. And the motion passes. It is not approved.
Thank you. Next up.
All right, done with mission statements. We have two requests this morning for requests for enrollment increases. The first one is from TMSA Charlotte. They're a public charter school currently serving more than 1,300 students in grades K-12, been in operation since 2016. They're requesting to increase their enrollment by more than 20% for the upcoming school year. Because they're currently designated as low performing, this request requires formal approval from CSERB. Without CSERB approval, the school's maximum enrollment for the 26-27 school year will be 1,626 students. And legislation, general statute requires when schools are low performing, it'll be considered a material revision to increase their maximized authorized enrollment by more than 20%. So they are requesting to enroll 1,806 students for the upcoming school year. It's supported by a combination of academic, operational, and financial factors. They said they have demonstrated consistent academic improvement with measurable gains across all assessed content areas. The organization has substantially increased its operational capacity. They have newly acquired and renovated facilities, which provide not only the physical space, but also the administrative and programmatic infrastructure. Third, there's a clear and sustained community demand. They have the application volume, waitlist, and acceptance rates. And they also have expanded their STEAM laboratories. They have advanced coursework and specialized extracurricular offerings, which enhance their overall academic experience. We have included information about their past 3 years of school performance. TMSA has provided their historical, current, and projected enrollment. And then they've also included within the documents a presentation regarding their request. So we have all required documents, and they're requesting approval for an enrollment increase of over 20%, what would allow them to enroll 1,806 students for the 26-27 school year. And I did see representatives from TMSA Charlotte online. They're available to answer questions.
Okay. Since they're online, why don't we start with them? And if the applicant, or the school, excuse me, not the applicant, maybe you'd like to provide a short summary of to support what you've sent to us electronically for your request.
I did see them online. Anybody from TMSA Charlotte, can you speak to your request? I wonder if we're having audio difficulties. Is anybody in Zoom that can see the chat?
This is Jenna. They're speaking, but we can't hear them. Mr. Aiden, if you can fix the audio. I see you're off mute, but I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, go forward.
Thank you so much for the opportunity for us to go through the details of our executive summary. First and foremost, we were serving in 2 different campuses for 24-25 school year, and at the beginning of 25-26 school year, we were able to relocate our secondary campus as well as open another elementary school campus. Currently, we are serving in 2 elementary and 1 secondary campus. We have a huge demand from the community since we offer specific programs in our elementary schools as well as in our secondary schools, such as we have well-known STEM labs in our elementary campuses. In our secondary school, we have aviation lab, finance lab, digital arts, media lab. That creates a huge demand from the community, as well as of yesterday, we surpassed the 2,000 application for the next school year. That's put a huge demand on our school interest, and we already submitted our intent returns from our current parents for the upcoming school year. More than 1,100 of our students confirmed that they are coming, and in order to serve the needs of our school communities in Charlotte area, we are kindly asking you to allow us to register 1,806 students for the upcoming school year. Our CAPI put us a limit of 1,626. We are kindly asking you to let us enroll 180 more students to meet the demands from the community.
Thank you for that. This is across all grade levels, am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And also, Ms. Wetzel shared our school report card based on our MAP test results through the winter and the spring break. Average of 74% of our students exceeded their fall to spring goals, which is very promising and putting us a hope to come out of our CLP status at the end of this school year.
Okay. If this were to be approved, you said you've already got a large number of applications that you're not able to fill those seats. If we were to approve this increase of 180 students, what does that make your waiting list look like? Is it still pretty substantial, or does this pretty much cover what the demand is as defined by applications?
It will help us to reduce the waiting list, and in average, as it is reflected in our ADM representation for your consideration, we are receiving 60 to 70 applications per week. That's our interpretation from our weekly enrollment meetings. If you approve this, it will help us to reduce our wait list, but in the meantime, we will continue to steal the applications. But our plans as of now, making gradual improvement our enrollment while we are trying to keep the quality of the instruction for our students.
So let me ask my question a different way. If approved, you'll still have a wait list of students who want to get in that.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Other comments or questions from board members for the applicant, for the candidate?
How many do you have on your wait list? Or did I miss it?
Currently, we have more than 200 students on the waiting list.
More than what?
More than 200.
At what number would that be?
Yesterday it was 207, but we are receiving daily enrollment numbers. That's the reason I said more than 200.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments for TMSA?
The summary talks about that the schools demonstrated consistent academic improvement. In 2024, it was not low performing. 2025, it was low performing. I wish I had a little bit more information to see the other trend lines and why they were low performing. Do we know, were there just small specific, were they very close?
I'm wondering if the school can speak to that. I don't have that data in front of me.
Sometimes it can be just a little,
Yes, ma'am. In our school report card, unfortunately, last school year, we ended up with the composite score of 54-20. We were 0.25% short than maintaining our C status. But while we couldn't maintain our C status, our growth on our school report card has been increased. And based on our internal school-wide assessment, which is the MAP test, our students has been increasing. The number of the percent of the students who exceed their fall to spring growth is significantly higher than the last school year. And we were not able to conduct our MAP spring results, but we were presented the information for your consideration in the PowerPoint for fall to winter results, which is a great indicator of our students' growth over the year.
Okay, so that sounds like it was just very little amount.
Yes, ma'am. It was very, very little. Just 25%.
Okay, thank you.
May I ask who's the gentleman speaking?
I am Mr. Iden. I am TMSA Charlotte Secondary School principal.
So I'm having difficulty understanding. Would someone tell me? Your name?
My name is Mustafa Aydın. I am TMSA Charlotte Secondary School Principal as well as the TMSA Charlotte LEA rep.
Okay, thank you. On the information that we have, the data, the school was continually low performing in 2023, which to earn that designation, they would have had to been low performing 2 out of the past 3 years. So it seems there's more history there to the low performing status of the school, perhaps 20, 21, or 22, and I know some of that was probably through COVID and that experience. However, we know that at least for the last 5 years, the school has been continually low performing. And your rationale for this enrollment request is that enrollment growth is essential to meet your long-term financial obligations. Another statement was that your projected budget is based on 1,801 students and you needed up to 1,981. I believe this is in the letter that you submitted to us. There is a concern that the school needs to focus on the academic performance before trying to grow what you may call the challenge of getting out of that status. I think that's why the legislators wrote this into the statute, that you come because you're trying to grow and expand something that's not working optimally yet. Can you just speak to that, please?
Yes, ma'am. We are serving in similar demographic schools in our school system, and our growth rate is significantly higher from the other schools around us. And even though we couldn't maintain our seat status, our growth in the last 3 years is substantially increased. You can see in the report here, it just say met the growth, but our growth percentage has been increased. And based on our MAP scores, which we can compare this school year versus the last 3 school year, we are significantly in better situation. And that's the indicator of how we maintain the quality of the instruction as well as increasing our academic performance with our students, with the additional students also.
Yes, I did note that your other locations have some strong academic performance and scores, and that is great. But this is the one that you're seeking expansion for financial obligations. And my notes are that the most recent score is a D with a performance grade of 54. So 2026 is not official yet, and they have not been published.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a concern. The school also performs beneath the Charlotte-Mecklenburg school system. And you're a math and science school, and you perform below the system in math and science, biology, other subjects. I feel like this is where your focus should be.
Yes,
you want
ma'am.
to be, right? You want it to be, to reach the levels that your other locations have reached. You want to be growing students and having a strong performance. And I recognize, the market may be there. Parents are choosing the school. If you have a wait list, parents want to be there. Maybe they don't know the academic struggles, or maybe they feel like their child can outperform that, which I know that's the case. I note that in ACT that 53% of North Carolina students take it and only 10% at your Charlotte school take the ACT. I mean, just if you look at the school report card and the data and the disparity between this location and even just the school system, it seems like your focus, I don't see anything in here about academic improvement, and I did look for that. I searched in your letter, in your rationale, in your board minutes to talk about the school improvement plan and how you're going to strengthen academics, and I just didn't find anything, so I'd like you to speak to that. That's what I'm asking you to speak to.
Okay. First and foremost, thank you so much for being descriptive, and thanks so much for sharing your concerns and articulating your thoughts. Last school year, there was not a constant administration in our secondary building, and the administration team is established, and we have been in place. And in the ADM submission and the presentation, you can take a look into our MAP scores, how we double the percentage of the students who exit the growth from the last school year versus this school year. In overall, although in all contents, math and science, our students has been significantly doing better than the last school year, even though our numbers for 24-25 around 700, current school year 1355, almost double the number of the students. We maintain that growth, and even we improve the percentage of students who met their growth goals. And our focus on the areas that we need to do better, and with those indicators, we are already on track. And when we compare TMSA Charlotte versus the public schools around the TMSA Charlotte, yes, there are some schools doing better than us as of now, and there are some schools, even though we are continuing low performing school, in specific schools, we are doing better than them too. And that's creating a huge interest from the community, and that's the reason we are kindly asking your approval to letting us to enroll additional 180 students for the upcoming school year.
So that's another excellent point. You do have room for growth. You do have some capacity there to grow without this request. You just want to grow larger than than what is allowed.
Technically, yes, ma'am. But since we open another campus and there's a huge demand from the community, we wanted to provide that opportunity to demand the needs of the students in the area that we serve. That's the reason we are kindly asking you to allow us to enroll an additional 180 students.
Can you describe what your Bellwether Consulting Agreement is about? What is that addressing? The Bellwether Consulting Agreement.
Bellwether, it's a strategic planning forum. They come and meet with our students, meet with our parents, and with our staff also. Ours is in the process of scheduling. Right now, we are getting ready for the end of year assessments. After the end of year assessment, they will be coming and interviewing our stakeholders, including parents, staff, and the students. And after they conducted their interviews, they will look into some type of recommendations and suggestions for us to improve the quality of the service that we provide our students.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Other comments or questions for TMSA?
I do find it interesting, though, looking at the report card, that they have a C in 2000. I mean, and not that there's not room for growth, but they have a C in math. They have a C in reading. They've met their growth status in both reading and math, and somehow their overall score is a 54. So it takes them down to a D. I don't know what pulled that down, but they're a C, a met growth, and for some reason their composite score puts them in a D.
So I have a D in 2023. In 2023, they were a D. Continually low performing. In 2024, they did improve to a C, still continually low performing. 2025, they were a D again.
Well, that's what I'm saying, is that if I'm looking at their report card, they got a C in math, they got a C in reading, they met growth, and this is last year. And somehow their composite score is 54, a D.
Mm-hmm.
So all their academic performances are above, which if they would have been a C this year, that would have, I think, taken them off the continual low performing. And so we're talking about maybe I don't understand how these report cards work. I never have, but to have a C in math, a C in reading, and met in both, and then for some reason you have a D on your performance grade history, it doesn't add up for me. I'm sure that there's an indicator in there that brought it down. I don't know if it's graduation or strength of math schedule or something of that nature, but I just find it interesting that if I don't know how much they missed by, it had to have been very close, but to be a C at everything and then met growth sure shows signs of life for me.
Mm-hmm. Are you also entertaining or actually starting a remote school?
TMSA public charter schools recently get the approval for open the virtual school. It's another TMSA school, not us.
Yeah, it's statewide. It's a TMSA organization running a statewide charter.
To go back, that was why I was asking. It had to be very, very, very close that they were close to a C.
And it really could have been this ACT performance. Like if they're at 10%, I mean, that could have been one of the indicators that brought them because I know the ACT is factored into the overall growth model for schools. But again, I mean, just looking back at the progression of their academic scores, it does show them above the C level. And I'm again, like I don't know what, without digging a little bit further, what caused them to be at a D, but I know their academic scores were at C's and met.
I'm going to vote no on this, and I think we have to be consistent about not growing a school when it is showing these results. And I agree with everything that Dr. Hare laid out. I think it was very factual and in line with the current standard. And I understand Dr. Eldridge's concerns about the report card, but this is the current report card, and I think we have to hold all the schools accountable to that before we let them grow.
And bottom line, it just sticks in my mind that they still, bottom line, they're continually low performing.
And another interesting point, they went from 796, right? Help me if I'm looking at the right numbers. They have grown from 796 to 1,034, or is that the request?
That was the growth from 23 to 24, 24 to 25 school year to 25-26 school year.
Mm-hmm. What was your enrollment growth?
Almost 80%. And with the addition of the new campuses, we were able to manage that.
Right. So you are experiencing growth, and this year you can grow to 1,806, correct, without a vote?
1,626 without approval.
1,626, and they're currently at around 800?
Currently,
So I have
1350.
so many numbers. You're currently at 1,300, and you can grow to 1,626.
Yes, ma'am. And we are kindly asking you to approve to us and roll up to 1806.
And they're asking for that because of the budget. Mhm.
Yes.
Well, I'm going to
Okay.
make a technical clarification there. They're not asking for the budget. They're asking because legislation requires them to come before us, given their current academic status. Yeah.
And you could say it's because they have the waiting list.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other questions?
I will say that wait list is not something that, according to the way the statute is written, that the legislators were considering when they wrote it. That wasn't meant to be a factor. A wait list. It is about academic performance.
We are currently having a huge interest because the parents are so happy with our students' progress for this school year. Our MAP scores are the only assessment with this NC check-in that we have. We are communicating our student progress to our parents. We are communicating all of our students' growth with the students. We are celebrating them. Today, we will have the pub zone party for the students who met from fall to spring their MAP goals, and 73% for the secondary school will be attending because they exceeded their both math and reading goals from the fall to spring. And this type of the growths are very promising for us, and it is buy from the community. And we received, as of this morning, 2003 application for the next school year. While we are currently serving 1355, there is additional 2003 application for the next school year as of now. That's the reason we are kindly asking you to approve us to allow additional 180 for the next school year.
Okay, thank you with that. Would anyone like to make a motion?
I would make a motion that we not approve this request.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. The motion is to not approve. So as a reminder, when you vote, if you're voting yay, you are suggesting that we do not approve. A no vote is you do not agree with the motion. Okay, the motion is to not approve this request. Nikki, let's do a roll call vote.
Stephen Gay,
Nay.
Bruce Friend,
Nay.
Rita Hare,
Aye.
Hilda Parlay, Todd Godby,
Aye.
Shelley Shope,
Nay.
John Eldridge,
Nay.
Linda Lynn Kekadelis,
Nay.
Eric Gucan,
Aye.
and Gerald McNair.
Nay.
The motion fails.
Okay. Would anyone like to make another motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the request.
We have a motion to approve. Can I get a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the request for an enrollment increase. Nikki, let's do roll
Have
call
any
vote.
discussion?
I'm sorry. Discussion. My apologies.
I just wanted to point out they are able to grow by 326 students with no movement by our board. They can add 326 students to this campus with the current performance without us making a move. And they're asking for 180 more to accomplish their purposes. So we're not denying growth. We're not inhibiting their growth at all. Just wanted to point that out. I wouldn't want to harm the school. So they are able to enroll 326 more. And
I agree with Dr. Hare, and I think any business principle is that you want to stabilize before you grow. And I just don't. I have a lot of respect for TMSA, and I think they're on their way. But you just growing too fast is not a good formula for children.
Any other discussion, Mr. Godby?
I again would echo that, and for me, the goalpost is school performance as identified the way it is by the report card, the grade, the composite score, the growth, and by the definition of what was intended. It concerns me with the next school that comes to us that's been continually low performing for 5+ years that's not TMSA. And how do we justify that decision? And what will we do next time?
Any other comments?
I do believe that we have a track record with this organization of excellent performance. And if you look at their report card, when they started in 2016, before COVID, it was a B school, higher performance. If there wasn't a waiting list, I wouldn't suggest this, but if there's parents that want to go there, knowing the situation in Mecklenburg County, I want to give those parents options. Nobody's forcing them to go to this school.
Can I chime in?
No, not at this time. Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the request to add further enrollment seats at the school. Any other discussion? All right, hearing none, let's go ahead and do a roll call vote.
Stephen Gay,
Aye.
Bruce Friend,
Aye.
Rita Hare,
nay.
Hilda Parlay, Todd Godby,
Nay.
Shelley Shope,
Aye.
John Eldridge,
Aye.
Linda Lynn Kekadelis,
Aye.
Eric Gucan,
Nay.
Gerald McNair.
Aye.
Okay, the motion passes.
Okay, thank you so much. Next up.
All right, we have another request for an enrollment increase based on the same legislation. Charlotte Secondary School is a public charter school, another one in Mecklenburg County.
They're serving approximately 156 students in grade 6-12, been in operations to 2007. They are also making a request to increase their enrollment by more than 20%. So without CSERB approval, the school could grow to 176 for the upcoming school year. They are requesting to grow to 200 students for the 2026-27 school year. It's going to be distributed across grade levels to preserve their small class sizes and uphold the school's instructional model, and aligns with their charter commitment to delivering high-quality, equitable education. They report that they have the operational and financial capacity to support this expansion, and we've included information about their school performance, as well as an enrollment chart from the school that proposes how they are going to grow by each grade level. And I did see, I believe it was the school leader, Joanna Miller, online, who's available to answer any questions or provide information about this request.
How are you?
Thank you. Good morning. Yes, could you maybe share a few comments in support of your request?
Yeah, so I have my board member here, and we submitted this request over a month ago, and we were reflecting, and we want to respect everybody's time. We would like to withdraw our request. We feel like there's some things that we are working on as a school to improve, and so we did not want to show up today, and so we would like to withdraw our request for this school year.
Okay, thank you. We can accept that that request to withdraw.
Okay, thank you so much.
Commend you
Yes,
for like renewing your focus.
Yeah, I really appreciate the integrity of that decision.
Yes, thank you so much.
And I too.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Miller.
Thank you.
Two next requests are from schools who are in the ready to open process. One, the first school, Carolina Collegiate High School. They are preparing to open this fall. They are requesting to revise their initial enrollment projection. They're a 912 public charter school approved to open in Durham. They originally were authorized as West Triangle High School with the planned opening in August 2023. And they've gone through two delays. This is representing their opening, which represents a third delay to the school. They are requesting to decrease their enrollment for 9th grade, year 1, from 200 to 165 students. That is based on the school's location at in Research Triangle Park, along with their understanding of the facility capacity, their construction timelines, requirements, and family demand. They report that they have the enrollment data to support the revision. They have received 262 applications with 159 accepted offers and 147 families already engaged in registration. And they remain on track to open in August 2026. They have secured, and they're renovating their facility, and they expect to have their educational certificate of occupancy by July 10th, has a fully staffed its team, and they've also secured philanthropic support to ensure adequate cash reserves. They've included an enrollment chart that shows what their intentions are with the upcoming school year, and we have all documents to support their request. And we should have school leadership online to answer any questions about this request.
Okay, so I have a procedural question, and I'm not trying to be flippant. I'm not understanding why we need to approve this request.
Any school in the RTO process, if they're asking for the first year enrollment adjustment, it always comes to CSERB.
Well, to inform us, yes, but to actually, I mean, their original application that we approved said they were going to have 200 students in year 1, and we approved that. They're well over the minimum of having 80. That's not even in play. If we vote no, what message are we sending? Nope, you've got to get 200, or we're not going to let you open. I mean, we're not going to do that. If you're less than 200, you adjust your budget accordingly so you can open your doors. I guess I'm just confused as to why. What are we voting on?
Yeah,
forcing them to have the number of students that was in the application that was written 3 years ago.
I mean, I don't know what their break even is because I don't see a budget, but I've not opened that yet, but it's that, or, I think we have a measure of 75%, that'd be 150. If we held them to the 200, it doesn't give them any wiggle room. Yeah, I don't know. I just spitballing.
I think they came in September, and I wasn't here and missed their presentation, but weren't they originally a different group of grade levels, and now they're asking to start with 1st and 9th, or?
No, that's the next request. That's the next one. Yeah, that's the next request.
I've moved to another school. Okay, so yeah, I missed their original presentation.
Well,
Thank you.
I won't be flippant then, and just say I would make a motion that we accept their recommendation, their
Yeah, if
the
it's just
request
that.
for fewer students.
I second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Yes, I did have a question about their budget. It's very lean, and especially in year one with a note of other funds. Let me go back. I've got it open. I know, Todd, you said you hadn't seen it. They did submit a budget.
Yeah, there should be one on e-board.
Yeah, I didn't see the break even budget.
Well, the one they submitted is, I'm sorry, it's really difficult to manipulate it. I don't know if anyone else is having a problem with their spreadsheet. The numbers were all there. We'll say that. It just looked lean, especially in year one, and they had an other funds category. If anyone has that open, we don't have to pose that question.
Year one was a balance of just over 47,000.
Okay,
Year
right. I
two
thought
was
it was
just over 310,000.
So you were able to open it? So what is that other funds amount, like 800,000 in year one?
Hey everyone, we're here. I just wasn't sure if you wanted us to chime in.
Mm-hmm.
Year one other funds is listed as 647,000.
Okay. I'm gonna reopen it.
Is that fundraising dollars, or what defines other?
So this is Brandon Mitchell with Carolina Collegiate. So we will have just a little bit over 500 with tenant revenue that we have at the facility, and also we have a guaranteed grant funding of 100,000, which gets you to that number.
Thank you for that.
Okay.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the request. Any other questions or comments? Yeah, again, I want to throw it out there. I'm not quite sure why we're even voting on this. I don't think that it meets every threshold. And if you fall a few students short from your projected enrollment, you adjust the budget. So maybe this is something we revisit in the future. But
We're saying there's something out there before RTO. They're supposed to be like at 80% of what their projection is. 75. So they'll be at 75 of 200. I mean,
and that's that's a good point.
Yeah.
But even that's not legislatively driven. That's just sort of something we've come up with to say, okay. All right, the motion and the second is to approve this request. Nick, you want to do a roll call vote?
Stephen Gay,
aye.
Bruce Friend,
Aye.
Rita Hare,
Aye.
Hilda Parlay, Todd Godby,
Aye.
Shelley Shope,
Aye.
John Eldridge,
Aye.
Linda Lynn Kakadelis,
Aye.
Eric Buchan,
Aye.
Gerald McNair.
Aye.
Okay, passes unanimously. Thank you.
All right, last request. Last request is from Bettis Academy. They are in a delay year with the Ready to Open process, and they are planning to open in fall of 2027. So what they're requesting today is to change their mission statement, revise their opening grade span, and they want to also implement a weighted lottery. So they provided their original mission statement and the revised mission statement. There's a small change towards the end of the mission statement where it reflects that they want to emphasize hands-on real-life experiences, emphasize applied leadership and entrepreneurial skills. They are also requesting an enrollment and grade span reduction. So you'll notice in the charts, the current and the proposed enrollment, they are making a pretty substantial request for the grade level, initial grade level projections. Instead of opening K-6, they're requesting to open with kindergarten and ninth grade, and the projected student enrollment will reduce from 420 to 150. And the last request is they're asking to implement a weighted lottery, which was not part of the original approved application. They propose a weighted lottery prioritizing economically disadvantaged students, targeting approximately 45% enrollment. And they will be following all state and federal requirements as they implement that lottery. Input process was stakeholders, school leadership, and the board of directors, and we have received all their required documents, and they've submitted several documents which are uploaded to eBoard. And the school is here today to answer questions and provide additional information. So I'd like to invite them up.
Good morning. Maybe if you could, for our time this morning, I'd like to jump ahead to the second request and talk about it first, because I think it's probably the one I'm going to guess that might generate more questions than the other two.
So I will ask, am I doing an intro first?
If you wouldn't mind introducing your colleagues, and then maybe share some thoughts from the school as to why the pretty significant change in terms of number of students and grade levels in those early years.
Okay. So first off, I'll introduce myself. I'm Allison Brown, the founder and board chair, and I'll let my board members come in and introduce themselves.
Good morning. I'm Robin Ash, vice chair.
Hi, good morning. I'm Dr. Dana Strawn.
Good morning, LaShonza Brown, board member.
We also have board member online, Jessica Hines, and then two other board members who could not be with us today. And so in regard to the kindergarten and ninth grade change, it really was a strategic measure after us continuing to plan using the RTO guidelines to, again, strategically plan, continue to do community involvement, and really having conversations with our stakeholders. And that's where we found, especially after the evolution of Eastern Wake County in itself, it has grown a lot, it has changed a lot, that those two entry points are kind of the peak interest of our community, being that right now we have over 170 rising pre-K families and middle school families. So we already kind of have our pipeline started in regards to those grade levels, because they will be either going into high school or kindergarten in 2027. We also did a community poll via our email listserv and social media, asking about specifically the high school edition, because again, we know that that was the biggest change. And 94.4% of those respondents said that they wanted another high school option, or that Eastern Wake would need another high school option now or in the near future. And so also looking at the traditional high school, there is only one. It reached this cap in 2024 when we were submitting our application. And it continues to grow, because Zebulon in that Eastern Wake area it really is exploding from the additional growth from Raleigh. Families have continuously cited, actually dating back to 2021, concerns of overcrowding and safety, academic access, particularly when it comes to college and career readiness pathways. Our focus has been in our initial charter and now focusing on the Career and College Promise program, and how the students out in that area tend to lack participation in that. Students right now in the high school level, less than 5% of students are even accessing the program, that based off of the demographics in that area, we know that research shows that it's a great opportunity when it comes to graduation rates, college matriculation, but they're not using it at all. And families are attracted to that opportunity. And my personal background is working with CCP throughout the last 10 years. My last tenure was with Central Carolina Academy, where we were able to get 100% participation rate in CCP, and our class of 2025 received over 600 credits. And so we are confident in the fact that when it comes to the high school level and integrating that into the kindergarten level as well, that again, we're meeting a need, and we also have the expertise to make it a success. In regard to the reduction, of 150 students now, we ran into a lot of issues, being that Zebulon is growing, but it's not at the same pace as Raleigh. And so they don't have as much commercial real estate. And so we kept running into the issue of finding even a temporary facility that may ultimately fit us, being that we were trying to start at 420. So it really was a necessity to start smaller. And so again, after having those conversations and that dialogue with our stakeholders, we decided that if we're going to start smaller, those are the best entry points to make sure we're meeting their needs. So.
Have you identified a facility, regardless of whether this is approved or not?
So we do have a potential. We are still going through the process with them. We have located a church that has a life enrichment center that's 75,000 square feet. That is not being used during the day. So we're still having our conversations with them, but right now that is what we are focusing on, and our budget projections, and again, the enrollment that we have here fits that and allows us to actually grow, because I think it's important to note that we are a true independent startup school, and so we have to be really, really strategic about our growth. Knowing that we don't necessarily have a sister school or replication school or EMO, CMO that, you know, may be able to provide some of that extra commercial real estate or funding for or capital for that. So again, we're really trying to be strategic about how we grow as well.
What about you're not scheduled to open until 2027, but have there been any staff yet hired for the school?
Not officially.
Okay.
I
That's fine. That's the answer.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. Questions?
I'm trying to read the table that shows current enrollment versus proposed. So I want to make sure that I'm understanding your chart or your table. So year one, you want to open with only kindergarten and 9th grade.
Yes, ma'am.
Year two, K1, 9-10.
Yes, ma'am.
Year three, K2, 9-11.
Yep.
Year four, K3, 9-12. Year five, K4, 9-12. What about grades 5, 6, 7, and 8?
So that is a piece that we decided to have a little bit of flexibility with our growth. If we get the interest to go ahead and add the 5th grade and the middle school, we will go ahead and do that. But the idea will still be that we will add a grade level. So after year 5, we will go into K5, and then we'll go into our middle school the following year and just continue to add those grades. But again, depending on interest, we do have interest now, but again, we have to be strategic about how we kind of bring it all together. But we will still ultimately be a K through 12 school.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. That's not changing.
All right, thank you.
And the goal would be at some point in time, because this again, year 1 through 5 is in a temporary facility, right? So the goal at some point in time is to continue to work on that permanent facility that will give you more flexibility in expanding grade levels at that point. Is that an accurate?
Absolutely, yes. Because I will, okay, absolutely.
Yeah, I think I understand that. I think there is a risk here. And the risk is you don't get that permanent facility in the time that you hope to. And so you could be looking at a year 6 where you want to serve 6th grade, but you may not have the space to do it. And I realize we're talking many years down the road, but it's a little bit of a roll of the dice that you're going to be able to get that facility that will allow you to grow to grade 6th, 7th, and 8th as well. Otherwise, families would be facing a situation that you don't have an option for them after 5th grade, and that's not going to be ideal for those families. But that would be your challenge in finding that, not just challenge, but the fire to make sure you find that permanent site.
And also thinking about because there is a lot of growth coming from that area, and I've been up in there looking for land myself, and finding land that's got the amenities on it is difficult right now. But with the growth that's coming, hopefully some of that stuff will be sealed up. And then I could also envision some like K-5 at one site, and then you have find another temp site that can handle your middle school and your high school. So obviously lots of planning and forecasting that this board's going to have to do to make sure that there's a plan A, plan B, and then a C. But I do appreciate the fact that you're trying to fill buildings from the bottom up, so that those kids will be yours. They'll be used to what you're expecting from them, and you're building them up each year towards those expectations of being able, when the kids hit the 11th and 12th grade, to take those career and college promise courses. So,
looking at your budget, or the updated budget, you've got 125 students. Did you build your budget on 125?
150.
150.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay, I see it. I'm sorry. You've got 25 coming from Franklin and 25 from Johnston County. Okay, I see it. How are you going to keep the kindergartners and the 9th graders apart from one another?
So based off of our potential facility right now, they actually have separate wings. And so the younger grade levels will have their own wing, while the upper grades will actually be on a different floor.
Okay.
So yes, ma'am.
This is really unusual. I don't think I've seen one like this. Also, and this is just a concern, starting in 9th grade, and you know this well, academic performance, kids coming in behind, you won't have any test scores in kindergarten, 1st or 2nd grade. But how many, maybe it was in here, how many are you expecting in kindergarten? How many are you expecting in 9th grade?
We proposed 65 in kindergarten and 85 in 9th grade.
85.
So a little bit bigger.
and I think and I'm not sure what Wake County is up to nowadays in the traditional public middle schools, but correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the only EOC that would probably be in play for them would be Math 1. Right, so I mean, that would be interesting to find out how many of them are taking Math 1 already in the 8th grade. So EOCs might not be an issue for a while. And if you have to test below a certain, what is it, 50 now? Below 50, it's not considered a subgroup. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to find out how that works for your EOCs. If you don't know, that might be worth some homework to find out how that impacts you for 9th graders. Because you're correct, that would be the only subgroup that would be tested. Would be that Math 1 EOC 9th grade.
Ms. Brown, I have a couple of questions. In your original application, you worked with Arcadia for your budget. Did they help you with this budget?
They help with the initial figures, yes, ma'am.
But not the new ones?
No, they did not.
Okay. Okay. And you were also sort of partnering or working with Central Carolina Academy?
I was employed there. I'm no longer employed
Yes.
there. I'm focusing on
So
this,
you're not.
But, they are just a call away.
Yeah.
So I still consider them mentors. So.
Mm-hmm. And so originally you wanted to form a K-6, and so that model changes now. So do you have a model that you're using? That you talked about, you somewhat were replicating Chatham Charter initially, like unofficially sort of replicating. So what are you modeling after now?
actually, we're still kind of following their model. Their model, for the most part, we kind of decided to partner because of the CCP aspect. And if I recall correctly, that was why CCA became their replication school, because of their success with CCP. And so that was kind of the basis of our partnership. So it actually leans into that partnership that much more, that we're starting in 9th grade versus K through 6.
So your board members have changed some as well, but I know it's been over a year, right?
Yes.
So those things happen. Who do you have who's been a part of your board from the beginning?
Ash, that's here.
Robin Ash?
Yeah.
Yes.
And then Ms. Hines, she was originally on our board as well.
Jessica Hines.
Yes. And we did.
And the others are new.
Yes, ma'am.
So do you mind briefly telling, because we normally have the opportunity to look at their credentials and their field of interest and accomplishment to know what they bring to your board, how they can help you accomplish this goal. Can you speak to someone there that will really guide you with the high school? Because that adds so much complexity from your original model when you add a 9th grade and all the elements of high school. Who would you have on your board?
So actually, Mr. Darrell Johnson, he was very instrumental in building the other local charter school in that area. He was a principal there for over 20 years, and so he's very hands-on. Very excited actually for us to be starting a high school piece. So between him and myself, we have that high school experience that I feel strong about being able to build this from the ground up.
So that
my other board members.
the other high school is a K-12 that he worked at. He was a principal there.
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. That's good. And so you always intended to be a K-12. It's just sort of a different path here that you're taking. Okay, thank you.
And back to your enrollment for kindergarten, you said 65? Yes, what will be the breakdown for per class?
Per class, math in my head.
How many classes?
We have 4 classes.
4 classes.
Yes, ma'am.
And the 9th?
9th grade, we will have our standard math, English,
No, the number of kids, classes.
Kids. Oh, I'm sorry, 85.
Yeah, but how many classes are you breaking that down to?
Oh, per class.
Per class.
So about 15? Is it?
It would depend.
that's gonna-
depend on the courses they're taking and electives offered and all that.
I'm sorry.
That's not going to come out even.
The high school courses will never work out to a 15-to-1 kind of thing. It's going to depend on how many kids need PE, how many kids have already taken Math 1, things of that nature. So really, a lot of the core teachers may be part-time, or they're going to have to be folks that teach more than one subject to make a schedule work like that for the first. Because by the time you get them to the junior year, then you start pulling in your collegiate partners that will help with your schedule too.
Yeah. And that is the idea, is that we'll have teachers that are able to teach multiple subjects, and then once we get to 11th and 12th grade, most of our students, when we do our job well, will be enrolling at Wake Tech or Vance Granville Community College to take those college courses. So.
I want to just, for board members, I know we're focusing in on the Second Amendment request, but if anyone has questions about the proposed mission statement change or weighted lottery, that's part of this overall request that Bettis is sending us today.
I think it would be interesting for you to tell us the rationale for why you wanted to now implement the weighted lottery. What was your thinking behind that?
Yes. So being able to take some time and kind of see how Zebulon has evolved. So the household income, average household income in itself has changed significantly. It was about $51,000 when we submitted our application, and now it's at $79,000, a little bit over $79,000. So the population itself is changing significantly, but the poverty rate there is still pretty high compared to those around it. It's about 9%. And so we know that because the demographic is naturally changing, that we could ultimately end up serving a whole population of students that wasn't in our initial charter. We said that we wanted to prioritize our educationally disadvantaged and economically disadvantaged students. And so instead of being reactive and let's wait and see what happens, let's go ahead and be proactive and put that in place so again that we stay true to our initial charter.
Mr. Chair, are we voting on Moss or for each of these individually?
We can do it however we prefer, however someone would like to make the motion. Yep. Any other questions or comments for the school?
I see in the budget that you have allowed for 7 core content teachers. So 4 of them will be dedicated to the kindergarten, and then you'll have 3 for the ninth graders.
So there's a little bit of flexibility in that.
Okay.
And so based off of how we did structure that budget, there'll be potentially some part-time people who will be able to offset and do multiple classes specifically at the high school level. And so that's where that kind of accounts for.
Okay. Any other comments or questions?
You worked as the college liaison in your other role, didn't you? Did I remember?
At Central Carolina County
Right.
Academy, yes, ma'am.
So you're very familiar with how that works and that partnership. You actually facilitated it for how many years?
So I was there almost 3 years, but also prior to that, I was a early college counselor. So I actually built my early college high school from pretty much the ground up. So
Yeah.
I feel
Okay.
pretty confident in it.
Good.
And let me follow up with what Dr. Harris said. Right now, you're the board chair. Are you looking at coming off the board and then operating the school?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I was fortunate enough to be the guy that hired her at Central Carolina Academy to be the color. I mean, I don't want to brag. I'm just saying.
You are bragging, John.
I am.
Just to be clear.
I am. If it's okay, I'd like to go ahead and make a motion to accept the proposed amendment changes in mass for Bettis Academy.
I second the motion.
Very good. We have a motion and a second. It's one motion to cover 3 requests. One is a mission statement change. Second request is the enrollment and grade span reduction. And third would be adding a weighted lottery. Any discussion amongst board members?
Just a quick note that it's interesting, they noticed every word in their mission statement. And they essentially just changed academic careers to applied leadership and entrepreneurial skills to sort of redirect the focus. Slightly, you could still said academically rigorous. So you still had that in there earlier, but just very intentional about every word. And I think that it's a good fit for your purpose here.
Yes, it is. And I applaud you for that.
Yeah, good mission statement. I also anxious to see how kindergartners and ninth graders are going to get along.
We'll report back.
You can do
Ninth
great
graders
things.
will be their tutors.
You can do good things at our
Or
school.
mentor.
Actually, our ninth graders are mentors for our
Right.
kindergartners. So we do a mentor thing back and forth. So
Yeah, that'll
what you can
work.
do there. Again, the area when you came forward, the area is very much in need of this. You know, I think I share some of the concerns about doing kindergarten and ninth grade. You know, as your kindergarten, you're growing your kids, and ninth grade, you can think about it the same way. But then you're gonna have to bring in a lot of kids that are looking for something different. And so you got to do something really special. That's going to happen and keep that ninth grade going until you can feel it yourself, and you can look at other schools that have done that as well.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any last discussion? Hearing none, Ms. Nowinski, can we do a roll call vote? The motion is to approve all 3 requests.
Stephen Gay,
Aye.
Recording stop.
Aye.
Recording in progress.
Bruce Friend, Rita Hare,
Aye.
Hilda Parlay,
Approved.
Todd Godby,
Aye.
Shelley Shope,
Aye.
John Eldridge,
Aye.
Linda Lynn Cakadelis, Eric Gucan,
Aye.
Gerald McNair.
Aye.
Okay, passes unanimously.
All right, congratulations and continued success and good progress in the RTO. Thank you. Okay, we're going to go ahead and take a little bit of a break. Next up will be a ready to open this report from Dr. Norins. Let's reconvene and stay on track at 10:45. So we'll have about 11 minutes here.
I've never seen it on mine. Yeah. But does that mean they're listening? That they're on board? Where they sit, okay.
Recording stopped. Recording in progress.
We good? Okay, welcome back. The next part of our agenda is to get an update on the schools that are currently in the ready to open process. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Norns. Good morning again.
Good morning again. In front of you this morning doing my real job, the part that I do 80% of. Dr. Norns with the Office of Charter Schools, and I am the Ready to Open lead for our office. This morning, presenting to you on the Ready to Open cohort for 2026. As a reminder, this is the month before the final approval on June 8th. So we are meeting with schools today and sharing their current readiness with you. What we are about to share with you is something that is brand new, as we shared in the last two CSER meetings that our OCS staff have been utilizing documentation for the readiness planning year process, and we're calling them readiness reports. So with the schools submitting all their final updates in late April 25th, as a matter of fact, any further updates that are not reflected in the readiness reports, they are going to make available to you today verbally. And the RTO schools did receive the readiness report as a template that was blank. So they have, unless they've gone onto eBoard in the last 72 hours, this is the criteria that we've let forth is available to them. And schools that are not considered substantially or fully ready are required to be here in person and with some board members online. And so for your information, in case not substantially or fully ready on the readiness reports, would mean that you had a majority of your ratings lower than a 3 or a 4. Any questions about the readiness reports if you haven't had a chance to view those yet? Okay, I'm going to go through each school, and there are 3 immediate ones today that were not required to be here in person but are online if you have further questions. These schools are substantially or fully ready to open based on your approval June 8th. That would be North Carolina Connections Academy. It's a full virtual school, K-12. You can see there their projected ADM and currently what they have enrolled as of April 25th. Okay, and then second, for substantially ready is Carolina Collegiate High School in Durham, grades 9 through 10, and their projected ADM and current enrolled. And then Warren, yes, a school slated to open in Warren, K-6, with their projected ADM and currently enrolled.
So Dr. Norns, you say these are schools that are on the right track to potentially have a vote from us in June to go ahead and open their doors. And we have representatives of each of these schools online with us today?
Correct.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions about these 3 particular schools or for any members of the boards of these particular boards or school representatives of these 3 schools? Again, these are schools that are on track based upon the ready to open process to receive our final approval next month.
I would just say I commend them on their substantial readiness. NC Connection, 65% ready. Carolina Collegiate, 88% ready. Warren, 90% ready. Super job.
Well, hearing no nuts, let's move to the next slide, which is the schools that are not ready.
Great. So in the next slide, we will go over the school's location, grade, and their ADM. Up first, we have BH2 Stream in Edgecombe County, opening with K6. Projected ADM is 280 as of April 25th. That number of enrolled is 128. And then Focus Academy, Wake County, opening with grades K through 4. And their projected ADM is 200. As of 425, they have 43 students. Rise Academy, opening in Guilford County, grades K through 4. As of 425, they have 142 students out of 250 for their ADM. And then IDYL Wake is the replicate fast-tracked school that is opening K6 in Wake County, and their enrollment as of April 25th was 182 with a projected ADM of 350. Also, as a reminder, the top 3 schools are accelerated schools, as that we had discussed in the last 2 months.
Okay, so let's have representatives from BH2 Stream come first, if that's okay, to give us an update on their progress. Board members are reminded that in eBoard, you have a readiness report from the office on each specific school, so you may want to reference that. It's not on the screen at this time, but the office is ready to report on each of these schools and the rationale for why they're being deemed not quite ready or partially ready to open. So, good morning.
Great morning
Yep.
to you.
Share with us a little bit about, since the last time you were with us, I know there's been questions about enrollment, there were questions about location, staffing. And if I remember correctly, you're scheduled to open in July, is that correct?
We were scheduled to open in July. We're going to open now in August.
Okay. We'll give you a few minutes just to give us a quick update on where you're at in the process.
Sure. First of all, I want to say happy belated Mother's Day to all of you mothers. And also, I would like to say a special thank you to the Ready to Open folks who have been most helpful. I have not said this verbally, but I want to say thank you for taking all the late calls and text messages and being so, you're laughing, and being so ready to help. You've been an inspiration. Thank you so much. We do have our board members on as well. We have online, we have Mrs. Janice Bryant Howroyd, who is the first African-American female to start her own billion-dollar business. She's on with her brother, she's in California right now, in Los Angeles. Her brother, Carlton Bryant, is on as well. Attorney Hassan Kingsbury is also online. And joining us in person is Jeremy Herring, who is an educator extraordinaire. We have Dr. Dan Crocker, retired medical doctor, and we have Tawan Davis Sherrod, a real estate guru in my eyes. And in addition to that, we have our mentor, Dr. Joanne Woodard from Sally B. Howard School, who has been a breath of fresh air that I could always call on as well. Thank you. Let me say that publicly as well. I've told you in person, but I wanted to say thank you. And in addition, we also have Mobile Modular. We're in contract with them to get our modulars on our site. So they are here with us as well today. So to share, we have been very busy since our last conversation. And so I'm honored to say today, as of yesterday, we have 209 scholars enrolled for the Bryant Howroyd Herring BH2 Stream School. We have hit the pavement. We've created a Pathfinders team whose job it was to help scholars find their path to BH2. And I want to say thanks to the board members who actually led the charge on becoming Pathfinders to help us find scholars and lead them in our direction. So that has been wonderful. We've been having enrollment parties that families have been showing up to, and we've been dancing and having a great time because we want scholars to also know that BH2 is going to be a great place to come and learn and work and have fun. So that's what we wanted to showcase. We've had those enrollment parties. We also had a concert on this past Saturday. We had an anonymous donor that bought tickets for every family member of BH2 who wants to come so they can see the type of artwork that's going to be happening at BH2. Dance, music, drama, everything was there. And so the families came and they are so excited. So we've done a lot of work with enrollment. With respect to facilities, can you all distribute the packets that I have as well, that we have for them? We have our construction schedule that's really aggressive. 'Cause we know we're behind the 8 ball with this, since we, we're not going to have the other venue. So we're going to we went back to our original plan, and we have Smithson Incorporated, who we are in contract with to work with us to get this happening as well. We also have Kimley Horn, who have been working with us with respect to transportation. So those are the things that are happening with respect to those. So you'll see the construction schedule on those first 2 pages. You'll see the site plan, part of that on the next page. Yes.
So I'm going to pause for a second.
Yes.
Let's talk about location. Because you originally got approved as an accelerated applicant because you had a location in a building identified. Yes. You came back to us asking, like in the wintertime, asking us to change that location. Mm-hmm. And then when you were back with us, I think it was last month, you were looking at yet a different location. And now, did I just hear you say you're back to the original location?
That's the original location, yes, indeed.
And school is opening in August?
Yes, indeed.
Can you remind us why you changed from the original? Walk us through that for a second.
Sure thing.
Tell us the journey, just
sure
the short version.
Am I verbose? So what happened was, after we came to Ready to Open, we're talking to other individuals in the charter school world. My experience has been in the public school world, not the charter space. So, what we learned, that it would be probably easier to go to and more cost efficient to choose another space that had already been operating as a school before. So that's why we chose those other spaces. One was in Nash. And then, we found another one after that was in Edgecombe, which is why we want to move to that space, just because it was more cost efficient to do it that way. That's all.
And then why are we back?
We're back because we were not allowed to go to our original space. At the last CSERB meeting, you all denied the ability to move to Edgecombe.
All the way to Edgecombe, yes. Right?
Mm-hmm. We're in Edgecombe, but in Rocky Mount.
Got it.
Edgecombe houses Rocky Mount and Tallbrook.
Got it.
So there's a property at 720 Western Boulevard that we noted was your forever home. Yes. Where does that stand now?
That's as our forever home?
Mm-hmm.
That's still a work in progress.
720 Western Boulevard.
720 Western Boulevard, and it's actually right next door to that space,
right.
1308 West Wilson Street.
Is it 1308? I had 31.
1308
West Wilson Tallbrook, and that is what you just handed us.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
You're most welcome.
What did you say the first day of school was going to be?
August 3rd is what we're proposing. And we've had conversations as a board. If we need to push it back, we're looking at contingency options as well to push it back later on into August if we have to.
How many staff have been hired to date?
Right now, I'm the only staff member that's been hired. We have in excess of 26 individuals that we're ready to hire. That's a board conversation we've had in our last board meeting. We just need to hit go at our next board meeting. We discussed that at our last board meeting, as a matter of fact.
And when you said 280 enrollments, I just want to, I'm being a stickler.
No, 209.
209,
yes.
Okay. Is that applications or is that enrollments? Meaning you even have those students are paperwork ready, question mark?
Paperwork ready for each individual scholar. Birth certificate, proof of residence, all information's been collected and is stored.
Okay. Other questions from board members?
This isn't really a question more than it is a comment. I think it would probably be for any of the RTO schools, but since you guys are there, is that what we're noticing, and it's a national trend, right, is enrollment's an issue just about everywhere, right? There's so many choices out there, things of that nature. And so if you don't already have some sort of schedule, and this is a construction schedule, but if you don't have some sort of marketing schedule that's pulling your families in and engaging them frequently between now and the beginning of the first day of school, there's probably going to be a surprise on the first day of school. So, and the more you engage them, especially with things like, hey, bring your friend, whatever, those kinds of things to continue building on the enrollment you have, the better. So And I see a lot of nodding heads, so it sounds like you already have that kind of a plan. And I would commend anyone for doing that, because the assumption, and I've said this enough times, is that we used to build them and they would come, and it's just not that way anymore. And so making them feel special and wanted and a part of what's going to make you different than what they're used to is going to really be important, right? So good. If you got 209, I mean, if you said you got 209, it's a great start, but just don't think that that's a done deal, right? Make sure you've got some things going between now and the beginning of the year to keep an engagement.
So to your point, I'll add this. I remember your session you had with us in RTO, and it was very, very powerful. And I went back to our board and shared the same thing as well. And in addition, with our conversations with Dr. Woodard, making sure we're having those consistent spaces, so we have a string of things lined up. I could share all of them right now, but I'm verbose. So, but your informational session was perfectly helpful, and that's why we hit the pavement running. Yes.
May I speak? Excuse me, I want to follow protocol. May I speak?
We're having a hard time hearing you, so we're just going to move on until. Do you have someone project managing this construction, the implementation of the modulars, the coordination with the town, the fire marshal, DOT? Do you have someone experienced who's done that work? Because I've done this work myself at my school, and I couldn't meet this timeline. And that's probably maybe a me issue, but there's a lot of moving parts here that are well beyond your control. And I feel like we're here today because you've been sharing for the last 8 months of things that have happened that are well beyond your control. It's concerning. I'm going to ask the same question I asked last month. What's the urgency? Why not take a deep breath? Ask for a year delay. If it's now modulars at the original location, then you can make that abundantly clear to your parents. Your applications would probably even go up because they'd have more assurance it's a real thing. They can drive by and say, I see it. Why not ask for a year delay?
Great question, Mr. Fred. And we've had that conversation as a board several times, and even with our family members. And, it would be easy to definitely say we'll pause, but our family members are saying we need this in our area, and we recognize we need this in our area. There are no high-performing schools in Edgecombe has become a low-performing district, and it has been for quite some time. And I love Edgecombe. I'm an employee there. But there are no high-performing schools in the K-8 space. And our scholars are needing this. Our families are asking us to do this. And they're saying, we talked to them about the possibility of delaying, and they're asking, please don't. We need this. And as we can see with that 209 already, with no building anywhere in sight, they're saying this is urgent for us.
And I'll follow up with a comment on that, just because I agree with, and you guys know your community much better than anyone else does with the folks that you've been working with. I would just say that rushing into the school year, and because this is going to be tight, moving the furniture and getting the desks, and the climate of getting everybody calmed down and let's get back to education there's going to have to be an intentional. There's going to have to be some intentionality around making sure that, there was a rush getting in the building, because if not, it's going to feel that way till December, and that's going to carry over into the second semester and the first year. While you got the school open, and folks, that I'm not sure you're going to get the results that you want. You may, but there's going to be a lot of undue stress that you're going to have to make sure someone's mitigating. To if this is what you decide to do, and we're going to plow forward, we're going to do this because we think we can make it happen. Just make sure you're keeping a pulse on what needs to be done for the staff. The students will probably they're going to come to school, but if someone doesn't take care of the staff, then the students are going to be the ones that are going to feel the brunt of the stress. So just keeping that in mind. It's not soapbox and all that extra. I was just thinking out loud.
I lived it as a 20-year veteran principal. Yes, you're exactly right, sir. Yes, indeed.
All right, you mentioned that you will have only mobile units, 209 kiddos or students. Mm-hmm. So will your mobile units be 4 classes per big mobile unit, or 2 per, or how many
they're actually
will accommodate
pods.
those?
and it will accommodate 14 classrooms.
Okay.
Which will be 350 students.
Oh, okay.
Which is our max.
I'm trying to visualize what they would look like. Okay, thanks.
My pleasure.
Cool.
Bruce, this is Shelley.
I don't know if you can hear me. Can you hear me now?
We can. We have a board member who wants to ask a question. I would just ask the members of the school just hold off until we ask direct questions of you.
Thank you.
Shelley, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I did not hear the answer to do they have a project manager with construction?
Who's your project manager?
Richard Bill.
Okay.
Thank you.
Is Richard here today?
Richard's not here today. I've got him on speed dial. So if he says if I need to call him, he's ready.
He's with Smithson Inc. Okay, thank you.
Who?
We're getting some reverberation. So if you are a school board member with the school that is not muted, will you please mute until we ask for your comment, because we're getting some echo. Thank you.
So at the risk of redundancy, I agree that this is super aggressive. And I mean, I don't know. You know your community better than anybody, but there's no way this happens in Wilmington, North Carolina. Just, I mean, unless your uncle's the mayor. I mean, I don't know, but
we do have great friends.
But so you said, we've got this plan, but we could push it later till April. So what if what's the plan if it's October? Like because that's a real possibility. So then what? If you run this sprint and it's not April or it's not September, so then what?
If we don't hit the space by August, we have to say we need to pause. But we want to continue to go forward because we don't want to be in October with kids not in school. They've got to be educated.
But respectfully, you don't have until August.
No,
we're supposed to vote next month.
Correct.
And you can tell there's voices of experience around the table here that this seems to be incredibly aggressive timeline with no room for any hiccups. You're relying on the town to follow through on the very specific key dates that you don't control. We have an obligation to make sure you're well aware of our concerns, and I think you're hearing our concerns.
Has construction started on the mobile units?
They have not.
Right. So I mean, we're May 11th, and the building permits are going to be finalized on June 5th through the 10th. That's a month from today. And
provided we need to do any additional edits to those.
Yeah, I know, but that's your building inspection. That's that they put them in, and then you got another final inspection down here June 22nd. I'm just, and again, July 1st, the educational certificate of occupancy. That's usually a 60-day. That's a 30 to 60 day. Once you put the application in, you're going to get your ECO. So if you did this on June 25th, and it's 60 days, you're now at the end of August, right? 1st of September.
Right, and having the conversation with Catherine Grimm in Tarboro Planning's department, it will not be long at all. That's one of the conversations we've had.
What's your first day of school?
It's August 3rd. It's supposed to be August 3rd.
What is your plan? August. You don't have any staff hired yet. What's your plan for getting them hired, trained, and ready to go on August 3rd?
Yes. So
A group of people who presumably don't know each other, have never worked with each other, don't know your school, don't know you. When are they coming together for pre-planning? Are they coming together this summer?
Yes.
Is there budget for this, for them to do all that?
Yes, there is. That all of those things have been considered. 2 weeks prior to August the 3rd is an intensive 2-week kickoff and training session that we've already planned and ready to roll out as well, talking about the stream model, and we have budget for that as well.
It's the pool of applicants. Again, I'm just throwing out questions that are coming to my mind,
Yes.
not to suggest you haven't thought of them.
Yes.
But schools all across the state right now, including charter schools, like those teachers already have contracts in hand for next year or are getting them within the next couple of weeks. So we're already faced with the challenge of tapping into a potential pool of educators, and then your pool is going to have a lower water level because you're having to convince teachers who have already committed to be somewhere else to come to you.
That's the part where I disagree. I'm not having to convince the teachers. They're already convinced. They're ready to go. And a lot of them have come to us and saying, this is where we want to be. Because of my experience in the area of consistently growing schools that had never, ever exceeded growth before in the history of school performance grades, consistently exceed growth when I get there.
Yeah.
So those teachers want to come.
I appreciate that answer. And look, I'm excited about this school
Yes, I
and the
believe that,
community
sir.
you're going into. And I don't have any doubt. I just, that you can make this work. But you talked about there's no other schools in the area that aren't low performing, that aren't failing schools. Why not take the additional time to make sure that yours doesn't, from the starting gun, be on that same path? Because there's just, let's be honest, if I'm going to speak for myself. If I knew back in last summer when we approved you to be an accelerated school, that would be sitting here on May 11th, less than 3 months before you're supposed to open, and you're still trying to get modulars on the site, there's no way this was approved as an accelerated application. It wouldn't have even met the criteria to be an accelerated application. And so now you're having to do all this work in the last 3 months that was supposed to have been ready to go the first time you stood behind the podium and asking for the charter. That's the concern. It's not a lack of, do I think you can do this? Like, it's the timeline you've put yourself in is incredibly, incredibly challenging.
And we realize that, Mr. Friend, and I echo those sentiments. The entire board echoes those sentiments. But to hear the scholars and their families say, please make this happen, we said we'll do all we can, and we'll keep pushing until we can't push any longer. And if we feel like we get to a space that we have to say pause, then we'll do that. We just don't believe we're there right now.
And understood, but last comment, and again, one voice on a vote of 11. We heard the same thing from 2 other schools that we had to close in the middle of the school year. And I'm not doing it again.
Has any site work been done at all where these mobile units are going in?
We're starting now. They're preparing that.
So just out of professional, this is what I do now, right? And so I just texted my engineer and said, how long would it take to put mobile units in for 340 students if it was starting today? And he said 10 months. We've worked with Mobile Modular before, and so this guy's been doing this work for 30 years.
And I agree. Curriculum instruction is my thing, so I'm just going with the professionals that we're working with.
And I think a lot of it probably for him depends on the amount of site work that would have to be done, right? And so, and this is with the inspections. This is making sure that the water goes in right, the fire alarm, all that kind of stuff. So. I'm just going to say, I hope that you guys will go back and take stock of where you are right now. And do you want to open the school year up under under severe pressure of making sure that we hit those targets, or do you want to make sure that you've got everything in alignment? When this school opens up, you're starting in your A game and continuing to be on your A game, because this is going to be almost mission impossible. You know, I'm not going to tell you it's not possible. I'm just going to say it's almost mission impossible. You know, and so I believe strongly in what you guys do. I have a lot of confidence in you. And I would hate to see that great that the scholars and their families are saying, hey, we want this school now. But will they feel the same way next year?
Undoubtedly.
Right. So there's the need for something like what you guys do is going to be super, super important. And I just hope that I trust your board. You guys are going to have to make some decisions that are going to be tough, right? So please be very introspective and don't put the cart before the horse. Just make sure that everything's in alignment. Okay.
Yes, sir.
On all of our applications, we have contingency plans. I just heard that if the building's not ready, say by the end of August, the modulars, or even into September, you just said we won't be able to open.
So
what is your contingency plan?
What would be wonderful, and I would have to ask, the RTO people and you all, but what would be wonderful if the building isn't ready to go to the space that's still in Rocky Mount in the Edgecombe side, where families were willing to travel to use that space that has an ECO already. That would be our contingency plan. But because that was denied last month, we're not 100% sure how that would work.
That would be contingency plan.
Yes.
So working with Mobile Modular, it's all depending on if you're going to go with a lease or a purchase on the units. These units are going to be leased from us, and they are ready to go.
Already constructed.
They are ready to go. The only thing we have to do is get the permit in hand and move forward, which was expressed to us that it would not take longer than a week due to the location, being in Tarboro. When you're in Wilmington, Raleigh, Wake County, and other areas that see so much growth, it does take a longer period of time to obtain your permits. And that does delay opening a school if they can't get their permits on time. But these units are located in Concord, and they are ready to be rolled out.
But you know Brian Ray, right? Have you worked with Brian Ray with Performance?
Yes.
So, his is it's the construction is one thing, but it's also the site work and the utilities, right? Well, the utilities are really generally the holdup, because especially in a small town like Edgecombe, where you have 2 or 3 people that may be working on the water, though, and if there's a rainstorm, if there's something that takes up the precedence, they got to move over there. All this stuff, as you know, you've done it long enough. Back up. So I think what you hear from all of us is just making sure that we do this responsibly, and aren't stuck on the gas pedal when there's no runway. I mean, we just got to make sure that before next meeting, I don't want to be the one that makes a difficult call and having to interpret whether or not this is going to be able to be pulled off or not. I would much rather the board sit down and really think through. Are we 80% sure? Are we 70% sure? Are we 90% sure? Where are we? Because after that, it's not a call. Like we're past the pull the plug. You're going to open or you're not. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Has the land been cleared?
There's nothing on there right now.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Has it been perked? Environmentals?
I believe so. It's outside of my area of knowledge.
And would it be on septic or city sewer or what?
Your engineer, I would assume it's city sewer. I'm not the engineer on the project, but I would assume it's city sewer. There's a permanent structure on the site, so it already has electricity and plumbing to that permanent structure, and they're going to tap in.
Okay, that's encouraging.
It is. It's very encouraging.
Very.
It's on pavement, and it's fairly level. So there's only like one little spot that there's a concrete barrier that will need to be removed from the site contractor before the modulars. The modulars can still come in and we can start installing, but they're going to need to clear that for parking. But other than that, it's a clear area for both sides of the building where they plan to put the structures. So there's not a lot of site work to be done.
That's why I had it here.
Is the state involved in this whatsoever, or is this all local permitting?
Yes, the state is involved with respect to, you're talking about North Carolina Department
Yeah,
of
I'm
Transportation.
talking. I'm just not DOT, but also like wastewater, not wastewater, runoff water, erosion, all that kind of stuff. Has that all been done? Is surveying been done on those things?
I was talking to the
That should be handled by the engineering firm. We don't handle, Mobile Modular does not handle that.
So we don't know if there's been surveys on the site yet.
I have a site plan, we received a site plan where they dropped the units in. I'm assuming that he is working on that. I don't have confirmation on that at this time.
And I could let you know by close of business today. Again, I have to let the touch bases with the person.
There was
to
one
see.
of their
Mr.
board
Goodkin.
members that wanted to speak. Did you
Yes, but not yet.
Yes.
Are you already leasing the land? Have you already begun to pay
We haven't
the lease on the
begun to
land?
pay yet.
Okay, but you are leasing the land from the church?
Yes.
And you're leasing the modulars from the modular company?
Correct.
Okay, so the traffic flow, are you leasing any structure from the church? Are you using their building?
No.
Their rooms?
No.
Nothing?
No.
Okay, so there were submissions that showed a place where school assembly would take place. You may recall the red carpet, and
Yes,
that's not
indeed.
going to
That's
going to
not
happen
going
now. So where will those kinds of things be? Where are your common areas for the children?
Great question. North Carolina Wesleyan University
Mhm.
has agreed to be a partner with us,
Mhm.
and so we will bus out when we need to have those assemblies and things. We'll bus our students from Tarboro to Rocky Mount, about 18 miles, and we'll have all those things on their campus.
Okay.
It's a great partner, so we appreciate
Mm.
that as well.
So the survey, this is the church, the rectangular structure, and the modulars will be on each side.
That's correct.
Okay, but the traffic flow hasn't been approved. That will also need to happen.
That's also yes, that's on the
Traffic flow.
Yes.
And you have 40 individuals to hire. It looks like parking could be restricted as well, like very limited parking. Have you done the math on that? Have you looked at
We have
total
had those
need?
conversations. Yes, indeed. So we'll have to be very strategic.
Some kind of strategy
Yes.
to solve that.
We're in the middle of that and having those conversations. Yes, we are.
So you already have a bus?
We're having conversations with Sally B. Howard schools to get buses. Yes.
To do what?
To get buses from them. To
buy buses from them. And we're looking to, you've got
To donate.
209.
No, just kidding.
You've got 209. You're looking to enroll 280.
Yes.
So how many buses do you think they'll sell you?
3 buses is what we are calculating.
And then the children will eat in their modular, I guess? Lunches will be in the modular?
Yes.
And then where will outside activity take place?
So we're looking at parking lot, playground areas, trying to figure out where that could be. So there's some space in the rear of the where the facility is, or there's some area where they can have like a little parking area and play out there in that space. And we're also doing movement-based instruction. So therefore, inside the classroom as well, there's a lot of movement happening. So they're up and moving consistently.
Right. I know that none of this is ideal, right?
Yes.
This is not your forever home.
Of course.
This is, it's not ideal. And as they say, it may not be able to materialize in time. But even if it does, there are some factors here that are going to be complicated.
Yes, very much so. We've thought through some of those, and we welcome any additional considerations that we need to have. Definitely do, because again, this is the first time we're doing this, so I definitely trust the folks who are in the room who've done this consistently.
Right, just a tiny little thing that you lose so much instructional time loading students up on buses and traveling to a place so you can have to see them all together at one time, a joint assembly, and then you've got to bring them all back. And
So that
there goes
that,
a couple
we're doing
hours.
One School, One Book, where scholars will be having books to read on the way, and we can have book talks on the way. So I'm very, very jealous of my instructional time. So we'll make sure every minute of that time in travel is used for instruction.
We had
And who would handle one more thing? You said the kids would eat in the classrooms. Who's going to supply the food? I know some will bring their own lunches. So, who is your food vendor?
We are with the National School Lunch Program.
Okay, so where's the kitchen going to be?
So inside the church.
Oh, inside the
Yes,
church.
that would be the
Okay.
only space that we would need to utilize.
Okay, thanks.
but the students won't go there.
Very quickly, because I know we need to move on. What I hear from you, I am not, like many of my colleagues here, a school operator, but I have been in the work doing student-centered work my whole life. And I appreciate how student-centered you are and the fact that you have a sense of urgency for students. Hearing all of the comments and hearing your obvious passion and the planning that you've put in, I would say that the piece of advice I guess I would give is perhaps the most student-centered thing you could do is to press pause for a year and that way open in the right way and have, like, this is what I'm hearing from my colleagues, these operational things really matter. And I will be honest, in my career, there have been times where I'm just like, operations, we don't need to worry about that. Let's just go, And that isn't always the right instinct. So that's just a piece of advice and thoughts for whatever it may.
And that's much appreciated. Thank you.
You did have one board member who was wanting to share some comments. I want to open the floor for that person if they're still there.
Are you referencing me? Are you referencing me?
Yes.
Well, having had the pleasure of listening to the conversation and also with deep appreciation for the work that you as a board do, I will refrain my comments beyond anything more than that this school has my full support. Having grown up in Tarboro and maintaining a home and continuing to be a taxpayer there, I am enthusiastic to get the school open and respect everything that I've heard. And I'm so grateful for the contributions that you've given to our thought protocol. I've served on several boards that include North Carolina A&T, Wesleyan, then college, now university, several in the Los Angeles area, USC. These are all university schools, and I also serve on boards at Harvard. And so I've seen what happens when we don't have students ready to go into those universities. The work that you're doing to assure that schools not only deliver to them, but open strong is touching my heart this morning. And I am convinced that the school can make the deadline. I will put all of my resources behind it. That is not just my financial resources. That is also my commitment to be present, to bring my knowledge to the school. And I have witnessed the passion of the community for it. It is not just people wanting a better opportunity at education who are talking with me and who I see when I'm in my home there. It is also people who are committed to be behind those students to assure that they are meeting the requirements of good citizenship and good academics. And so I don't know that my voice carries a lot of weight in your consideration of readiness. I think I hear a lean toward us putting our foot on pause. The energy that the Herring brothers and the teams of teachers who want to come on board with them have put forward have just motivated me in ways, as well as the community citizens who work in the town of Tarboro, who will go beyond to make sure that we meet the regulatory requirements of the school. I pray that you hear in my voice not just fierce urgency of now. I pray that you hear thoughtful, pragmatic consideration that while this sounds speedy, it is also well thought out and supported by people who are working those day jobs to get the work done that you're describing will have to be met if a storm comes or if a hitch occurs. Beyond that, I can only continue to thank you for your knowledge and the respect you're showing us in this process. I pray that my comments about confirmed readiness does not harm your consideration of who we are as a pragmatic, thoughtful, caring board for the school.
Okay, I'm going to thank you for your comments. We've got to move on. I do have great appreciation, as all of us do, for the passion, the energy. You've not heard any one of us question that as it relates to your board. We're not making a vote today. I would encourage you to kind of consider what Dr. Eldridge and others were saying. We have a mission to, I read at the beginning of the meeting today, to ensure high quality charter schools. And part of that ensuring high quality charter schools is making sure that those schools are set up for success on day one. So I'm going to close it with Mr. Godby.
Yeah, I would just follow up. I think it's the right group. I think it's needed. But we need schools that are successful, right? And that community needs a school that's successful. And while we are not taking a vote today, in 1 month from today we are. And there's a lot of ground to cover. And I think I think you got to work your butts off, and I think you got to think about it and really gauge it. And I hope that, cautiously optimistic, but real cautiously.
And you guys went first, right? The other three schools are coming right behind you, and they're gonna. It's the and I think it's the same question for everybody, right? So don't think this is just about where you guys are. These schools are all in the same, and all schools in the future that are coming to us. There's got to be some thought given to what's the best way to do this. And I'd rather a school open up late than to open up early and get crushed by all the pressure of having to get things done. So thank you.
And we appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
June 8th is when we meet again, that we will be voting. If we keep this, and this is not on scheduled, then that may have to do with our vote.
Totally understood. And that's why I wanted you to have a copy.
Thank you.
You're most welcome.
And we will hear from Focus Academy in Wake County next.
And again, as a reminder, the readiness report for the individual schools is in eBoard, but not up on the screen.
Yes, I highly suggest maybe you take a look at that briefly before each school comes to the podium, because it does provide comments and ratings based on the work done during RTO. And here they are.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yep. Can you give us a quick update on where you're at? You've obviously read the readiness report. You're here today because you've been deemed not ready to open. Inspire us and encourage us that there's going to be a change here in the next 4 weeks.
So, good morning to all of you. I have two of my board members with me, and I believe two are online. So Mr. Prince and Ms. Exum are with me. I know when you look at those numbers as we do, it seems like what in the world? But we have been working tirelessly from the beginning. We are located in Wake County, and so it's been a lot just to get our name out there because we are brand new. We're near 2 charter schools that literally are not that far away from us, but we've been working since October 7th to make it work. Our challenge for us has been getting them from application to registration, but we've changed our strategy to do that. So within the last 2 weeks, we actually have had over 50 applicants, 50 new applicants within the last 2 weeks. Complete our application process. So what we realize is that for our demographics, our parents like to be face to face. And one of the challenges was for us when we received our keys to the building that we have, because we have everything ready for the building. We have our ECO, we don't need a traffic study, but when we received the keys, we weren't able to start doing tours because the church had not actually cleaned out their stuff. So that kind of delayed us in and giving tours. Because what we've noticed about our parents as we interact with them is they want to see where their children are going to be. They are very excited about arts integration. So we do have the interest as we continue to get out and around and in the community. So we are now, like I said, we've changed our strategy some. So what we are going to do specifically this week is have face-to-face opportunities for parents to be able to come in and enroll and actually register. So we are going to help them register. In April, when we submitted that report, we had 43. We have 53 now that are actually registered, but we have scheduled for Wednesday and for Saturday an opportunity for parents to come and actually enroll with us. Because as I've said, just within the last 2 weeks, our applicants, we have over 50 applicants just within the last 2 weeks, and we see that continuing to rise daily. So we know that the interest is there and that it's coming. We just had to change the way we were doing things. We have, like I said, since we got approved to open, we've been doing a lot, really a lot. Like we've participated in over 50 local events. We've put in community events. We've put up yard signs everywhere that we knew could. We've actually gone outside around the county to Clayton, because we have students actually registered from Clayton, from Zebulon, from Nightdale. So we're actually branching out as well. We presented at numerous churches, and we've held interest meetings every month since November. We've had radio ads on 2 different radio stations, we've been presented on the local news. We've hosted our own events, so we've hosted a literacy day for parents, like I said, our interest meetings, and we have events coming up. We know that it's a short timeline, so within these next 2 weeks, we're actually going to have somebody present on site for parents to come, because again, we noticed that face-to-face is more beneficial for our parents, for us to get them registered. And again, the interest is there. It's there. And we're hopeful. Like I said, those numbers don't look good right now, but we're believing that within the next 2 weeks, we can actually turn it around. And yes, it's a short timeline, but we've changed our strategy to make sure that that can happen.
Thank you for that. Questions from board members?
So on this report, it says that you were anticipating the ECO May 1. I think I heard you say you have it.
Yes,
it's
sir.
in hand.
We have it now.
Okay. You have 50 new in the last couple of weeks. Do you guys know your conversion rate from, you said you were struggling to get them from application to fully enrollment. It's not just you. But like, do you know what your conversion rate is for every, when you get applications, and how many of them actually become enrollments?
I don't know how to explain that. I can tell you that when we last filled out that report, we had 126 applicants, and we had 43 fill it out. We have 53 right now, but again, we also realized that it's more beneficial face-to-face. I've actually enrolled some of those people on myself face-to-face. When they came in, they wanted to enroll right then and there. The other thing that we have to contend with is the fact that the demographic and the area that we serve, a lot of times those parents wait. They wait until, school ends, which unfortunately for us, we don't have that time, but they wait until school ends to make a final decision. So we've been, like I said, we've changed our strategy to meet them more in person. We also have offering an incentive to get them to actually enroll, go from the application to enrollment.
And
the conversion is about 30%.
About 30, okay. Thank you. And enrolled is everything, all paperwork, shot records, proof of residency, everything?
Yes.
Fully? Okay. And then talk to us about food. And what is your economically disadvantaged population going to be? You keep talking about our demographic, but you've decided to not do the National School Lunch Program for the first year. So what's that going to look like?
So we actually have contracted with a vendor for that, and they're working within our budget. So of course we're collecting family incomes, and what we're noticing is it's less than 50% of our students that are showing that they need free or reduced lunch. But our rate for that will be $1 for breakfast, $3 for lunch, and for those that can't afford it, we will provide it. But the food vendor is working within our budget and also working on grants to help offset some of that cost.
Okay, and you've done a revised, because the budget that we approved was the National School Lunch Program getting those reimbursements. Have you revised the budget to reflect this
we're working on
new
it.
expense? Okay. The report says that you still need to hire 12 teachers. What's your pipeline? Yeah, how many do you have interested?
A lot. There are a lot interested. We actually conduct interviews every week. While there are a lot interested, because we have a staff interest form, but we've also done ads on Indeed. The staff interest form alone has 98 people that have showed interest, but we've been very strategic about who we are and who we won't hire. Currently, we've hired 5 teachers. So we need to hire 2 more teachers, to meet that thing, a EC teacher, which is my main focus is the EC teacher, and an operations manager.
Other comments or questions?
Yes, I have comments. I wrote down a lot of things that you said that you're doing to advertise or market. If you're doing that much, what is missing? For an example, could you give us what you're saying in the radio ads? And you said you were on TV. That's a lot that you're doing. So what do you figure is missing to only attract 43 students at this time?
I think in the beginning we probably had a slow start. We started out with, of course, trying to get the word out there in the beginning. So I think in the beginning, not knowing us and, going through the process of, I don't know how you say it, but the process of the initial open enrollment, I think there was a delay because we weren't reaching out to parents as much. Now we are very intentionally following up with parents. If they fill out the application, we send them an email offering them a seat. If we don't hear from them within 48 hours, we give them a call and speak to them. So I think initially we had a delay. Initially, we also talked about using a marketing company, and just from some experience, people were advised not to. So we took that advice, which didn't benefit us. We did eventually, when we saw that our numbers weren't growing, we did decide to contract a marketing company, which I think is why we see the uptick in applications. But I think that was our initial problem, is that, and like I said, we are between 2 charter schools. So we have been very intentional and very strategic because we know that there is competition there in the area that we're in. And although that's not our permanent area, that's our initial area. So we're being very intentional about making sure our presence is known. We do a lot of boots on the ground, going to apartment communities, subdivisions, putting out flyers. We make sure that we're at every event that we know about, sometimes splitting up. And because in Raleigh, there are events happening everywhere and around. So sometimes we split up to tackle those events as well. Like I said, we've been to churches as well. So I think the initial was that even though we felt like we were starting out strong, I think it was a slow start because it was us trying to get our name out.
But what are you saying about the school? That people can say, well, I think I'd choose them as opposed to the other two that you're near.
Well, we let
What are you saying to stand you out?
So one of the things that we notice is that people are very excited about arts integration, and that's what our motto is. So we really talk about being an arts integrated school, what our focus will be, and about providing individualized instruction. Those are the things that we notice that people are really, really excited about. So we're intentional about making sure that people know what arts integration is going to look like and what it means, and that we're going to meet the students where they are. Because we do have parents who've registered whose students have IEPs, and we get a lot of conversation about that and about what we're going to do to meet those students' needs. So we're very student focused. That's our main thing, is being student focused, but also letting parents know that our model will allow students to have hands-on experiences that will help them advance. So that's what we communicate to parents.
Even on your flyers, how in depth though do you get in explaining what that will look like?
Yes. So initially, our flyers were not in depth. They just listed a couple of bullets, but then we had a one-pager created, and that one-pager actually gives more information about the school, more information about what we're doing, and that's the flyer that we've been giving out now, because it allows parents to have more of that information than the initial flyer that just had bullets.
Will you make those changes on the radio ads in the future?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Question, I see that you are anticipating your certificate of occupancy by the 1st. Have you received that yet?
Yes, we've received it.
Okay, good.
Dr. Grubbs, you're already paying the lease. Is that correct? You already leasing.
Yes, ma'am.
So that has begun. Okay. And is the current enrollment, what we have is 43, you see on the screen, so you currently have 43 enrolled?
No, we have 53 enrolled right now.
So it went up by 10. And you have about 9 weeks to the first day of school. Would you say that's about right?
Yes.
So if you need another...
Our first day of school is
175 would be 75%.
Pardon me?
Their 200 target, 75% it would be 175.
Right, you need about another 16 a week, every week for the next 9 weeks to enroll, to hit that number. I don't know how likely you feel that is. I noted when you were here in September that I made a note, I may have talked to you about it, that you hadn't had an event since April, and I felt like you were losing ground in getting the word out. You talk about you just didn't hit it quickly enough. I think that's probably the case, that you didn't get the word out quickly enough. And I know there's a lot of uncertainty. So how do you market your school, with all the uncertainty? But I think that delay has stalled a little bit here. You are at the Word of God Fellowship Church, correct?
Yes, they're building. They have a building that was used as a school. So yes, we're there.
The former school.
At the former school.
And you plan to serve as the principal?
Yes.
So what is that plan? What is your timeline, chair versus principal, and then what's the transition?
So we're actually starting to make that transition now, because like in October when we came, we mentioned that the vice chair would step into the role as the chairperson. So we're beginning to shift now.
Is that Shawin?
Yes.
Dubois?
Yes.
That is your vice, and that's who will become the chair?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Certified teacher. Okay, and then will you be adding board members?
Yes, ma'am. So
you already have that?
Yes. We're always recruiting board members.
Right. Okay, thank you.
Any other comments or questions?
Bruce, I have one more quick question. This is Shelley. Have they applied or received their 501c3? I had some notes that they hadn't, I think, the last time we spoke with them.
Yes, we've received that. We received that a while ago.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, again, we're not voting today, but we did want to hear from you as far as an update on where we're at.
Yes, sir.
We will be voting in June. There's a lot of work that needs to be done between now and June, enrollment being top priority. And so when you do those numbers out in terms of how many enrollments, not applications, how many enrollments you need between now and doors open, it's even more so when you think about now and when this board has to vote and have the confidence. I really don't mean to come across as that you can't do it, but there's recent history that we just cannot repeat, and that is schools who came before us who were not at even the state minimum of 80 or slightly over. And, you know, for those of us that operate schools, we know when 100 families say they're sending their child to your school on day one, it's 75 that show up. So just please keep the office up to date on your progress over the next 4 weeks, because that's really what we have here before we have to cast a vote. So, yep, thank you so much, though.
Thank you.
Can I also just add, as you're walking back, that like we said to the other board, if things aren't looking like it's going to be where you want it, don't leave it in our hands to make that decision. I mean, I think as a board, you guys can make a decision about whether or not this is going to be the year or not without us having to make that vote for you, I'm sure. Okay.
Yes, and we've discussed that.
All right,
Discussed
great.
the potential of a delay. Yeah.
Okay, next up.
Next, we have Rise Academy from Guilford County.
No, that's good. I'm glad you made that point. Yeah, good to remind. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Still morning, I guess. Good morning, I should say. Feels like it's afternoon, barely. I just want to give you the floor, any opportunity, things you want to share with us, work that's being done. Obviously, you know, the status right now is you're not being recommended for being ready to open status. So share with us a little bit about the work that's being done and what's some of the work that needs to be done over the next few weeks before we actually cast a vote in June.
Great. Good morning, everyone. My name is Sharina Sabla. And as we stand today, we have 171 students fully enrolled. So we are pushing 70% of enrollment, and we are projected to hit 200 by the end of the month. So a few things that we're doing to continue to push enrollment is really impactful, actually. So we kind of have a strategic plan that we do where we, put out ads in the community and then have those people come in to the facility to take a tour. Once they take a tour, they're applying on site. After they apply on site, they get what we call a Rise box. So it's also a Founders box. So in that Founders box, they have a shirt, they have stickers, they have cups, they have pom-poms to celebrate their enrollment at Rise. A few more things that we are doing is community play dates, hosting education fairs, continuing to do tours, media press. So we actually will be on our local news station this Sunday. We have also hired a college, well, not hired, but there's a college marketing intern that is starting this month from Appalachian State University. And then we also have a parent meeting this month, and then pizza with the principal very soon as well. So the last time we were here, we had I believe 70 enrollments, and we were able to push 100 in just a month. So we are really excited to continue our marketing efforts.
What's the status of your facility? Is there any last minute things that need to be done for it to be ready?
No, it's ECO, and we are ready to go.
Furniture is all moved in?
Not yet.
How about staffing? Where are you at with staffing?
So right now we have 7 out of 10 right now that are hired. Something that we're doing is we're very strategic with our hiring practices. So we're making sure we have our numbers before we continue to add on those hires.
And then we have a board meeting tomorrow where we're bringing on 3 additional. Sorry, we have a board meeting tomorrow where we're bringing on 3 additional. We're voting to bring on 3 additional.
If you fully hit enrollment as you hope to, then am I correct, you're looking at a total of about 25 staff?
20.
20, okay. questions, comments from board members?
What is your break-even number?
130.
130. Okay. And I recall the situation with the building and the facility. Do you have the traffic flow worked out and the parking and those things have been hammered out and approved?
Yes, they have.
Okay. Are you already engaged in a lease?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
We have a signed lease.
Any other questions?
So I apologize. I was not here last month, but you guys are in a shared facility with another school, right? If I recall. Yes. Yeah, got it.
Okay. I think that we're out of questions for you. We'll be voting in June. Please keep the office updated, as I know you will. It's going to be really critical that we have the most accurate information about your status, particularly that enrollment, before we make a decision about RTO.
Can I ask
Go
for
for
an update on busing transportation?
So we have a school that we're in contact with that we're going to purchase buses from.
Like out of service buses or a school that closed?
Out of service buses.
Okay. Have you started hiring bus drivers?
We're looking. We're actively looking.
But
we have a few companies that we're looking to contract with for bus driving.
Okay. Yeah, that's a whole separate animal. Yeah. Just FYI.
All right, thank you so much. Yep.
And last but not least, the Institute for the Development of Young Leaders, in Wake County, IDYL. Dr. Monroe.
Thank you for all you do for
How
us,
are you?
ready to open people. Good morning, board. We are excited to be back with you again.
If you would give us an update on where you're at in terms of how you feel you are in terms of the ready to open status that you're in.
Yes, certainly. We are currently 217 confirmed enrollments, all paperwork in. We moved from the building of the initial charter to the 9400 Forum Drive, the home of 5 previous charter schools, and I think Oak Charter may have been the most recent occupant. With that being said, it is very easy to turn over that building into ours. The inspector came out and wanted us to put up 9400 in other locations on the building, and then he will come back out for the final inspection. DOT had already been out and identified the roadway as school, that schools were there, a school was there, school use, thank you. We're putting up our sign on the building. We are currently, what happened about 2 weeks ago when we realized we had not hit the number we wanted to hit, we employed a customer relationship manager, as well as they do marketing and branding. And the key performance indicator for them is that we have 100 enrollments within 1 month, and they're on schedule to have that happen by May. In the meantime, we have many applications that have not converted yet, and we have folks in the community working on going to those addresses and collecting documents.
When you say many applications that just haven't been processed, can you give me a sense of what numbers we're talking about there?
Certainly, and let me say first, Mr. Friend, that the person who submitted the enrollment numbers counted applications and did not count the siblings in that application. So in preparation to come before you, I did a better look at that, and we have applications that may be more than 200 that need to have enrollment documents completed.
Questions from board members?
What is your break-even number in your budget?
210.
210. Okay. And there's a note about renovations and updates proceeding. Can you tell us what that is and give us an update on the progress of those?
Absolutely. We put in new sinks and new countertops, and that's completed. The guy that I have that works for free, he's called my husband legally. He has to paint some of the, or patch paint some of the places like the teacher's lounge. And we had security put in. The sign is coming for the building that says the school's name. And we have Churchage, which is a playground company that's doing the fencing, the mulching, and putting in play equipment, with a schedule for that to be done by July 1.
I had a note that your break even is 300.
It was, I said 300 in an email, I think, and then we revised it to 210.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments?
You still plan to be fully K-8 down the road?
Eventually, with
Okay.
K6 this year.
Right, this year K6. Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Okay, hearing none, thank you for taking the time to be with us this morning. I think, as you know, we will be voting in June as to the status of your exiting of RTO and being able to open your doors. So, as I've said to every other applicant before you, candidate before you, please, please, please keep the Office of Charter Schools up to date, so we can be up to date and have the most information, most recent information for when we vote. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay, we do not have a director's report today, I don't believe, correct? She's out. Before we wrap up, just two things I want to acknowledge. First of all, thank everyone for being in here today. I know it's sometimes challenging to come for a one-day meeting, let alone a half-day, but I thought it was really important for us to be here to show support of our students this morning and to hear from these applicants that are in the RTO process. Be remiss if I didn't mention that you may know this already, but this is National Charter School Month, or Charter School Week, excuse me, across the country. And so just thank you to all the people here in North Carolina. For those of you serving on this board as a volunteer, I think sometimes people forget that, how much time and effort you put into ensuring that we uphold our mission, to the Office of Charter Schools and the punching above their weight class that they do every single day to kind of keep up with all the work in our state, and to all the other charter school leaders and the organizations out there supporting charter schools, giving parents a choice in where they send their child for their education. And that's really what is the sort of the North Star for all of us in the work that we do. So I hope you have an opportunity to celebrate National Charter School Week in some capacity this week. And I'm going to give out a personal plug here real quick before we wrap up. Sometimes when you're running a school, you can kind of get in your own echo chamber, as they say, and you don't get out and visit other schools as much as you'd like to. And maybe that's something that we shall challenge ourselves to do during National Charter School Week. Don't have to visit a school this week per se, but to make it a priority to maybe in the coming weeks or early next year to go visit schools. I had the opportunity recently to visit Girls Leadership of Wilmington, and thank you, Todd, for the invite, and absolutely was blown away. The young lady who did the tour, who I think is going on to UNC Chapel Hill, did an amazing job. The interactions I had with the staff, the students, even the janitorial staff, everyone made you feel like you belong there. I can absolutely see how a prospective parent would just be absolutely like, wow, this is a school for me. And as the father of 3 girls who unfortunately are now, well, not unfortunately, who are older, but I could see that as a school. Man, if I'd known about that 15 years ago, I would have, well, you weren't around 15 years ago. If I'd known that at school about 9-10 years ago, I think I may have been moving to Wilmington. What an outstanding place for young ladies to attend. So Todd, just want to commend you in all the work that you and your staff are doing there. I was really impressed.
You're coming in with claps and going out again.
Look at that.
I'm coming back to this party.
Right, that's right. But with that, motion to adjourn. All in favor? Aye. All right. Do we have lunch? Is there lunch back here for us? Okay, there is lunch for us, so please don't scoot out without lunch. Yeah.
It's here and ready to go.
And lemon cake, I hear. Yes. Yeah.
Lemon blueberry.
And also some cookies from Kathy.